pessimist means that you have agreed with human life, academic matter. So I'm forced to be an optimist. I'm forced to believe that we can survive whatever we must survive.
The table about to turn. The table about to turn. The table about to turn. Yeah. I've been flipping through my timeline, trying to get my mind right. My city cried out. I got to cool down. Thought I'm under pressure. Looking with my Crisco. Look at what my fist go. A renegade when I'm in a rage. I got to cool down. Thought I'm under pressure. I keep my hands dirty, my mind clean. Got a new agenda with a new dream. I'm kicking out the old regime. Liberation, elevation, education. America, you a lie, but the whole world about to testify. I said the whole world about to testify. And the table's about to, the table's about to turn. Ain't no stopping till it turn. No stopping till turn. We can't wait for it. Turn. Yeah, the table about to turn. There's a boomerang booming back. Yeah, you laid an egg, now it's about to hatch. Yeah, you gas light about to meet your match. You fuck up the kitchen, then you should do the dishes. Burning down plantations. Ain't no parking, I don't need no validation. I like sage when I'm in a rage. I don't need permission, I got my intuition. Hands dirty, mind clean. A different vision with a new dream. We kicking out the old regime. Liberation, elevation, education. I said America, use a lie, but the whole world about to testify. I said the whole world about to testify. We gon' watch the table. Now we gon' watch the table. Turn. This table got to. That's right. Turn. Waiting too long, you gotta turn. Just turn. Set the table. We see it all now. Turn. Set the table got to turn.
You know it. Serious. Hello, Fama Lama. Sorry, I just thought I'd start with that. Just set the tone. So, how are we? I hope everyone is awesome. I've got a lot for you today. Got a lot. So I'm probably going to talk really fast, and I apologise in advance. So, where to start? Well, here's the thing. I'm going to start going on from yesterday, and I don't mean to go on about it, just a little bit, but we need to take ourselves back to drug school. And what I mean by this is, and you watch any of the other episodes. I've referenced this before, and that is that the drugs that are legal and that are prescribed to us are scientifically proven to be some of the most dangerous. Okay. And there's rafters of evidence on that, on the side effects and dangerousness of these drugs that are legal that they prescribe. Okay, and then you've got to think about all the side effects that those drugs have, and then the compounded effect on that, and then that plus all of our bad habits in general. Meanwhile, all the many of the drugs that they criminalize or have historically until now, which help naturally. So I'm talking about plants here. Start with plants. So we've already discussed marijuana, and there's a sweeping decriminalization. Yay, world, go, coming to your senses, because you can't have scientific evidence that proves that something is heals and cures many an ailment and then criminalize it. But they did because it was a plant and it grew everywhere, and they wanted to capitalize on it and make money. So, but they've come to their senses, and now there's a sweeping legislation change across the world. Yay. So that's that one. Now, there are others, which there is also scientific proof that what would have been classified as drugs in the mass psyche as being evil, because they've portrayed it that way. But they also then have done the research and have the scientific evidence that prove that they actually help with all these things, but they still keep them criminalized because they obviously want to monopolize and capitalize on these things. And they do so because they obviously make more money when it's when it's done illegally, when it's not regulated. So if you look at around the world, countries where they've legalized various drugs, what happens as a result of legalization is actually, and the regulation that goes with it is that, it's not so, when you're young, when you're told something, you can't do something, it makes you want to do it more, doesn't it? It's the same. And it's the same with this, because when you look at countries that have done this, that have legalized certain various drugs, the crime rates go down, the crimes associated with these drugs go down. People just aren't so bothered about doing it because it isn't so taboo. And actually addictions and all of that also goes down with it. So does people, people in prison, crimes associated with it all goes down. Right? And when you look at, so there's a, like, for example, there's a company, it's gone from my head now. It's based in Jamaica, I've mentioned it before. They've created a psilocybin, which is mushroom-based nasal spray, which is for depression. So it's obviously all regulated in terms of the amounts or whatever, but it's proven to help with depression and anxiety and stress. And they're in talks at the moment, because I'm signed up to everything. So I'm signed up to their newsletter, and they're in talks with different countries at the moment for rolling that out, turning it as a legal product, because it's medically proven to help with these things. And if there was ever a fucking time, it's now, because so many people are suffering from anxiety, stress, fear, depression, all of these things. So I actually, over a year ago, I actually wrote to them and said, can I have the UK and European distribution rights? Because I was like, one day that will become legal. And here we are. So, so there's, as usual, I'll put all the links in. So there's scientific evidence on this, and there's already the product there ready to go. So, and it's a little nasal spray that's all regulated, the amounts of it, right? It's not quite the same as eating a pack of magic mushrooms. That's not the point. But the reduced the reduced amount will do the job that it's supposed to do. That helps. It's a natural product. All of these natural things that have been used for thousands of years. Not only that, you got to think about like ayahuasca. If you've ever heard of that, ayahuasca is a natural psychedelic, but you have it in a tea. You can go to retreats at loads of places in the world and have it, and that will take you to the closest to God you've ever been, or source, or whatever you want to call it. And it's just like it's a plant. And same with DMT. DMT is a root. It's essentially made from a root of a plant. Same thing. And there's even research that ketamine and MDMA, obviously, this is in regulated amounts, but they've done research on it. They've done trials on it, and it helps with depression, anxiety, stress, all of these things. So I can't say it doesn't when it does, when they've done the research into it, right? And then if you go to cocaine, now cocaine again is a plant, and if you look at the indigenous people that live around where those plants grow, what they do is they chew on the leaves or they make a tea. And the problem with cocaine and many of these other drugs actually is because it is on the because it has been criminalized, because people it's not regulated. That means that people are capitalizing on it all the way from the top to the bottom. And what I mean by that is, and I know this information because I went out with a drug dealer, and he was one of many within his circle of family and both sides of his family. And what happens is that they, at every stage in that process, the next person is boshing it with something, and the next person is boshing it with something, and the next person, so all the way down. Yeah, and the level that he was at, and all of his known associates and other family members were at, were selling it in keys and boxes. Yeah. So when they sell it, they'll sell it to someone, and that someone is going to bosh it, and they're either going to bosh it with benzocaine or they're going to bosh it with teething powder, because both of those things will numb your nose and mouth, and you can't, unless you're a connoisseur, you'd not know. So why do they do that? Well, they do that so it doubles the amount and they make twice as much money. And then who they sell it to will do the same thing. But now, what are they boshing it with? And this is a problem. And it happens with all kinds of drugs, because it may start off as one thing, but all the way down that supply chain, it's just getting diluted and diluted and diluted. But diluted with what? And those are the things that are causing the problems. That are causing the damage. And because when I was at having like performed at festivals and stuff, they often have these days, they often have like drug testing little tents. So you can take your drugs to the tent and get it tested to see if it is what it's supposed to be, or like what the percentage is of what it is. They'll still let you take it though. Yeah, and more often than not, it's nowhere near what it's supposed to be because people are trying to make money. They're trying to capitalize, and they don't give a shit. Trust me, these kind of people do not give a fucking shit. And they don't care what they're putting in it as long as they're making their money. And that's where the danger is. Because you don't know what they're putting in it. You don't know what they're putting in it. If you're getting it from source, that's one thing. But if you're getting it at the bottom of the chain, which most people are, you literally don't know what they've put in that at several stages along that journey. And you're paying top price for it. So, and the reason I was telling you this is because this is really following on from yesterday's debacle. Because I just find it hilarious. I find not that. I just find my exes hilarious. I find a criminal family organisation of Walkers and Macintoshes, yeah, of which half of them have been in and out of prison and have criminal records for all of these kinds of things. And they want to judge me? Wow. And just to this is really just a cover that it's just being wary. If people are out there, of which there are many, just remember, you don't know what's in it. You do not know what is in it. And unless you buy in a drug test, which you can online if you want to be safe, can't stop people doing drugs, they're always going to do it. You don't know what's in it. And I only know because I went out with a drug dealer, and I only know because I saw them bash it. So, you've got to be wary where you're getting this, where and what it is. And this is the other thing. It's like, if they had, as I said, other countries that regulate these kinds of drugs, they don't have these kind of problems. And that's a statistical fact. But why do they keep it? Why, like weed? Why have they kept it criminalised for so long? Because certain people in certain places are making a lot of money. That's why. Same with cocaine. You've got to think, in this day and age, with this much technology and drones and everything, how do they get it? You can understand it way back when, but how do they get it from play logistically? Well, it's because they're paying people to get it through. The people in positions of power, and it's consistently proven. And I've got my finger on the pulse because I'm signed up to like FBI news. Do you know what I mean? So people in ports, people in even government positions, they're getting paid somewhere along the line to either turn a blind eye or make something happen. And that's the hypocrisy I don't like. It's like, mate, you're fucking, and then it goes back to this. It's like, so wait, you're part of the logistics team for drug lords. Then you're taking the drugs and you're going to elite sex parties. I can't take these people seriously. It's like, well, if you're anything to go by, then everyone can do whatever they want then. You can't be sitting up in some high tower thinking you can look down on everyone else when you are doing worse. When you're doing worse. Yeah, and there's three things that are important to me. And I'm going to go because I've got no, I know, unfortunately, I know a lot of drug dealers because I went out with one. So all of his friends are drug dealers. And they've probably got squeaky bums. I'm not coming after you. I ain't got no interest in anyone else other than getting justice for myself. And that doesn't involve anyone else other than the ones in question. And these are high level people. Yeah, as I said, keys, boxes. And of course they're going to hate on me because I've exposed them. And that's okay. I'm really not bothered. Because sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, for one. And number two, they don't know who I am. They don't know who I'm dealing with. I've told them many a time. And they still keep lying. And thanks to my global legal brains, they're like, I can have them done for slander as well. I can have them all done for slander. So any social media post, any email, any WhatsApp message that has my name in it and a lie, of which there are many, I can have them all done for that as well as everything else. And the great thing about technology is that once it's sent, it's actually never deleted. It doesn't matter how much you try and delete it, that shit is there and it can be recovered. And you know what's even funnier is that they think they're fucking geniuses. They think they are masterminds of crime. I think they're genuinely, they believe that they are one above all of the brains of any police force anywhere. That's how clever they think they are. And they're just not, because they're just not they are not down with the technology that is being used and the people that are being watching them and the information that is already captured on them by the police pre anything. Because when you commit a crime or several crimes and go to prison for those crimes, guess what? That's on your record. And then guess what? All of your known associates get associated to that. And there's a software that does that. A software where they just search your name and it bring up everything you've ever done, every prison sentence you've ever been in prison for, and any associate that is linked to you, family, friends, whatever. And it's like that they, even though that exists, even though that is well known, even though every click is recorded, even though every post is recorded, it doesn't matter how much, it doesn't matter. They're still using WhatsApp. And at the beginning of the last year, there was a huge WhatsApp thing on like how many thousand people that were caught in a drug syndicate. And it's like, and they're still using WhatsApp. They're using Wicker. They're using Snapchat. People, listen. When you get, when, as I said, there's three things that are important to me. And that is loyalty, honesty, and love. I'm a very simple girl, really. And the day that I met him, I said those things. And he barefaced lied to my face. And he lied to my face every day since. And lied to everyone else as well. And I'm not, the thing is though, I'm not in no way a victim. Because I didn't love myself. I didn't respect myself. Yeah. And my intuition, my gut instinct was telling me that it was a bad idea, but I went there anyway. So there's no one else to blame but me. And everything that, everything that has happened, and all of the abuse and all of that, again, I'm not going to blame him for that. I'm actually going to thank him for it ultimately, because had it not been for that, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be as strong as I am now. I wouldn't be who I've become now. So whilst it was the worst 8 years of my life and ongoing, I'm ultimately thankful for it, and all of the things that he's actually taught me about the criminal underbelly. So he taught me a lot, really, even if it hurt. You know, but the some of the things that, for example, and I have mentioned it before, but these are just some of the tidbits. For example, when my dad died, rather than come and comfort me and be at my side, he went to a sex club and got his knob sucked by a stranger in front of everybody. And then I had three friends phone me. This is the day that my dad died. 3 friends phoned me from the nightclub to tell me that. 3 different people. And he flatly told me all 3 of them were lying. And because I was so in love with him, I just didn't want it to be true. Even though 3 different people phoned me that day, that night. And I just didn't, I wanted him so badly to love me how I loved him. And he just didn't, he never did. And when I first started going out with him, immediately I started getting messages from random people telling me, not just his ex, but his ex wanted to speak to me to tell me all about her bad experiences with him. And he immediately was like, oh, she's crazy. Oh, that rings a bell, doesn't it? That rings a bell. The old go-to. Oh, she's crazy. And then I had 6 years of his ex constantly messaging me and harassing me. Not only me, my friends, telling them and me that he, you know, of various different instances during that whole time when she'd seen him with some shagging somebody under a bridge or all of this kind of shit. And again, you don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe that someone would do that to you. You don't want to believe that someone you love would do that to you. And that you and have an ex tell you that. And then he's telling me she's crazy as well. Funny, there's a running theme. And I was performing at a festival, and when I got back, I had a message from her. I was in bed one morning, woke up to a message from her on Etsy. This girl, she was relentless. She would go, she was trying to do me a favor. That's the thing. I didn't see it like that at the time. She was trying to do me a favor, and she was messaging me on anything and everything. She was messaging me on Facebook, on Etsy, on eBay, like so many different routes. Even on a casting site that I was on, she messaged me to try and tell me what he was up to. And every time, because I am honest, I'd say to him, oh my God, she's messaged me again. And he'd go, oh yeah, she's psycho. Yeah. And I was performing at a festival, got back, I was in bed, woke up, had a message from her on Etsy saying, oh, I was with Wayne at the weekend while I was away. So I said, and because obviously I was in bed, I told him straight away, he's next to me, and he said, oh no, she's full of shit. So I tried to back him to her, going, you're full of shit, I was with him, making a fucking tit out of myself because I believed his lies. And so he barefaced lied to me while in bed all that day, and she was kept messaging me, and then in the end she messaged me screenshots of their text conversation, and their text conversation was along the lines of, you're right, gorgeous, I'm going to bring some wine over, you know, we can have some fun. Yeah, right. So I obviously then confronted him, having him barefaced lie to me all day about it. And then he changed his tune to, oh, but I was trying to go over there to try and stop her from harassing you. Really? Is that the tone? You're right, babe, see, I'll bring some wine so we can have some fun. That's the tone he uses, is it? Bear in mind, this is somebody that he had GBH against, that he went to prison for, yeah? Please. So no, when they're messaging me going, oh my God, you're destroying everyone's lives, hold up. The world does not revolve around you. You're all fucking criminals. Yeah? You're murderers, you're thieves, you're drug dealers, you're cyber criminals, frauds, and you still have stolen off money of people during the pandemic and used my mum's account to do it. So no, I don't have any fucking sympathy for any of you. I'm sorry. But no. And that isn't even including the years of abuse that I've had to deal with and being threatened constantly, and my mum being threatened to murder us. So there might be 1,000 of you. I could not give a shit, because right is right and wrong is wrong. And trying to, just the audacity, yeah, of these kind of people trying to judge me for doing the right thing, and judge me for educating myself, and judge me for healing myself, and judge me for, telling the fucking truth. Oh, well, shame. Bring it. That's what I say. Because they won't get anywhere fucking near me. Yeah. And they don't like it because, of course, they've been called out. Oh, fucking well. Don't do the quiet if you don't want to do the time. And again, as I said, yeah, there are many people in many places that are forced into selling drugs because that is the only way they can survive because of their circumstances. And I've got no judgment against any of them because this situation I'm in is nothing to do. It's nothing to do with that. Because if you think about countries where all these drugs are made and the gangs and stuff, that is the way it's always been because that's the way it's been forced on them. They ain't got a choice. It's kill or be killed. And that's what everyone else does. That's the only way to make money. That's the only way to survive. That's the only way to provide for your family. So if that's the only way to provide for a family, then that's what you're going to do, innit? But that is not what it's like here. And they've been to prison. Loads of them have been to prison for various different crimes. And then they'll come out with having chatted to their other people with more crimes that they want to commit. Because they've got hints and tips while they're in there. Yeah? And that's just the reality. And what we should be doing is focusing on getting the foundations right, focusing on helping these people in these areas so that that they have opportunity to make money that is not and it's not, as I said, I don't think that anything that is derivative of a plant should be legal. Shouldn't be illegal. It should be legal and regulated, and then there would not be this problem statistically proven from other countries. And the problem is with all of these, it's with how it's made, how it's boshed all the way down, and then it is also all of the chemical synthetic drugs that are the real problem. There are things like meth and PCP and spice and all of those kind of things. They're psychosis. They actually make that, again, proven to cause psychosis, where people do crazy shit when they're on it. Is that them? No, it's not. It's the drugs. And it's their demon inside them telling them that they need it. And again, going back to that little fucker there will have you do anything. And that's why you got to be in control. You've got to be. Whatever you want to call it. Your dark side, your demon, your mind chimp, if you want to go back to a reference book. Yeah. That thing there, all it wants what it wants, regardless of anything else, of anyone else, of any whatever. And if that is in control, you're being held. That is not you, for one, and you're being held hostage by that. And that thing will make you do whatever it wants. And that's why people steal, because they want to fund their drug habits and things like that, because that's what that thing inside you is telling you to do. And all it is to get a dopamine fix. And that dopamine fix is the same dopamine fix that anyone gets from a load of other things. Like sex, sugar, there's a load of things that you get that same dopamine, that short-term, immediate fix that you feel. And your inner mind chimp, demon, dark side, whatever, that is going to make you do, it's going to tell you to do whatever it is to get to that dopamine fix the quickest. And generally speaking, it's going to be all the worst things for you. Can't believe I've ranted on for 40 minutes already. I've got a whole heap of shit to tell you. But I just wanted to point that out because we have to understand that and not judge people that are forced into these situations because they're trying to survive. They're trying to provide for their family, and there's no other, you know, there isn't another option. And it certainly doesn't feel like it. It's a very difficult situation to be in. But over here, there's just no fucking excuse for it. And there certainly isn't when they then think that they are better than everyone else. They think they are cleverer than everyone else. And they think that they are some kind of masterminds that are, you know, cleverer than the force of the GCHQ and the entire police force and all of their might and brains and technology. And it's just embarrassing, honestly. And they wonder why they ain't been knocked on their door yet. Well, it's because they're watching, innit? They don't need to come knock on the door straight away. That's boring. They just was sitting back, chilling, and just letting them. They've gone out and bought the rope, and now they're hanging themselves with it. So, do you know what I mean? Chillax. That's what I'm doing. And going back to love, loyalty, and honesty, it's like people will believe what they want to believe, regardless of the truth. And this goes back to an email I had ages ago, and I told you about it, where it's like 90% of people would rather believe the negative than the positive. And that's done from studies. Right? And so in this that we're talking about, in what this journey that we're on, that you've all been part of for a long time, it's like I have bared my soul. I have bared all of my skeletons, every single one. And I've told you the truth about myself and other things. And I've shared the information of that. And I'm trying to make amends. And they don't know any of that. Or until recently, no, they did know because I've told them, but they just didn't want to believe it. And I've even told them about this, and they still don't want to believe it. So they've not watched any of the episodes, or read any of the descriptions, or read any of the links, or read any of the courses, or watched any of the videos that are in there either. And they still want to believe what they want to believe without having any point to go from. Just that they just want to hate me that bad. And that's okay. Because the thoughts and opinions of people like that really mean nothing to me, and it's like water off a duck's back. And as I said, loyalty, love, and honesty are the most important. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. So, what was I going to tell you? I've got the $1 trillion coin news that I'm going to put in. I've got the Dogecoin. There was a thing this week about Dogecoin where it went on there was a problem with Robin. I think it's called Robinhood. Yeah, I've got it up here. Robinhood. So Robinhood is it's an exchange, and so basically on Thursday, Dogecoin went up massively, and on Robinhood, which is this platform, there was a problem, and it went down for about an hour and a half, I believe. So I looked up this platform, and they make their money. Listen, says the company's revenue comes from 3 main sources: interest earned on customers' cash balances, selling order information, and high frequency traders. Now, and margin lending. So their platform suddenly went out just as Dogecoin price was peaking, which means that in theory, anyone that was trading Dogecoin on their platform that couldn't access their Doge to sell, they were potentially making money on that for a good hour and a half. They were earning interest off everyone's money for an hour and a half before they got it back up and running. So I'm going to put a link into them. But overall, on the Go world, everywhere's doing amazing. Everyone had a stonking week on the stocks and shares and business. Everyone's making money. So what was I going to say? There was another thing over here. Look. And Biden met with Japan, and Japan. Listen, if any, there's a few countries I'm going to hashtag them in as usual. Anywhere that has is prone to landslides. I have mentioned this before. Anywhere that's prone to landslides, Japan has the technology. They've created a little membrane that you can put over the land that is areas that are prone to landslides, and it stops the landslide. Prevention is better than a cure. We know this. So anyone that is prone to landslides, get in touch with Japan. They'll sort you out. Sort you right out. So, oh my gosh, there's a story as well about the Vatican. Listen to this. So they have a building in London that they bought. So this is this is important because anyone that's Roman Catholic, yeah, listen to what they're spending this money on. If you're giving money to these people, yeah, they have spent 200 million on a building in London. It's like in the most exclusive area. And as far as I can see, it's just been sat empty for the last 5 years. But that's what they're spending your money on. They ain't out here helping the people, helping hungry people, helping poor people. They're buying themselves expensive buildings in London that then sit vacant or not. Who knows what they're doing in there? And it's just sat there. Oh shoot, sorry. Oof. Like what, Vatican? I mean, guys, what are you doing with this money? What are you doing with the people? You know, the how many billions of people that are under your faith, and you're taking their money, and then you're what? You're doing what with it? Oh, buying buildings that do nothing. Oh, that's money well spent, isn't it? I'm sure the congregation of the world would like to see your bank statements and your assets and your ins and outs. They should be entitled to see it. Should be public. Because frankly, if you're a religious organisation, it should be based on charity, no? It should be based on the people, helping people. But it just doesn't seem like that's what you're doing. Does not seem like that. Well, factually not either as well, because if you're spending 200 million on a building that just sits there, does fuck all. What else you got? What else are you spending your money on? Or is that just young children that you abuse? Okay. Where am I? Ooh. Biden administration. Listen, America. You guys are knocking it out of the park. There may be problems, but tables are turning. Listen, Biden is holding an urgent climate meeting. You know what I mean? These guys over here, we're supposed to have the whatever G number it is. We're supposed to have that, and they keep postponing it because they don't give a shit about the climate, do they? Biden, though, he went, no, I do, and he's holding a meeting next week. Boom. Go on. So yay, you guys, and he's invited other countries as well. I think there's about 40 countries. Boom. We've got this under control. These are over it. They don't know what they're twiddling their thumbs, I swear. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in Parliament or in number 10. I wonder what they actually do. I wonder what they do. Genuinely. Other than being corrupt. I'd love to know what they do. I'd love to. Probably getting high and sleeping with people. Any hole to go? Right. Where am I? Oh, have you seen how they are still the Murdoch dynasty of death is still slating Meghan Markle? He needs to shut his dirty mouth. He's a tramp. Literally. How is he still going on? Why is he being so nasty to her through his organisations? There's just no need for it. And if we want to go a step further, listen, we are bored. We are bored of hearing about this funeral. It is on every 2 fucking seconds. The same shit. I'm sorry. But when there's 127 plus thousand people in the United Kingdom alone and 2.6 million people around the world that have died from COVID, most of which did not get to say goodbye to their loved ones face to face in the same room, Like, how are they going on like this? It's just so up your own arse. Oh, everyone's going to be in mourning for 2 weeks. Everyone's going to be attending the... No, we fucking won't. We don't care. You care. It's your family. Yeah? Keep that shit private. No one else got to have their goodbyes to their families, to their friends, to their grandparents, to their brothers, to their sisters, to their mums, to their dads, to their children. No. Yeah? 2.6 million people around the world didn't get that chance. But they're having a nice old to do, aren't they? They're having a nice old to do and making sure we all fucking know about it every fucking second of the day. I didn't get to go to my funeral. My funeral. My uncle died. I didn't get to go to a funeral during COVID because they were only allowed to have like a limited number of people because the COVID regulations. I think it was like 5. He was one of the lucky ones to have 5 because loads of people didn't even get to go in the same room. They had to be Skype called from mobile phones to say goodbye if they even got the chance to do that. And then not only that, think about the mental health that would have had, the effect that it would have had on not only the family, but all of the NHS workers that would have had to become their family there, holding their hands while they died. And the millions of hours of unpaid overtime that the NHS workers had to work. And the pittance of 1% that they've been given as a pay rise, which is a kick in the face. And then not only that, they've now got a backlog of 4 years worth of operations and appointments to try and catch up. So they're never going to get a fucking break. And they're expected to just do that. And we're supposed to be in mourning. Please. Please. And that's what I'm going to say on that. Right, so I've got the... I meant to say... I'm going in, people. I'm going in, strap in. Because just in case anyone needs any more evidence. JB Sport. So my ex, has been living off the coattails of this for the last 22 years. When he was 18, 19, he worked at JB Sports in Colliers Woods. And him and his mates used to steal from JB Sports. So what they do is they get fraudulent credit cards. So JB Sports know about this because they actually pulled him up. So this is just a proof, yet again, for the avoidance of any doubt whatsoever. They pulled him up. He had to go and testify about this because they obviously realised that there was something suspect going on, but they couldn't prove it. Or I can't remember quite what it was. But let me tell you, he worked there and he stole £250,000 worth of JB Sports goods in via using his friends to come in there with fraudulent credit cards, buy shit, and walk out with shit, and he double up the amount that they'd get as well. So people walk out with twice as much as they paid for with a fraudulent card, and then he would because JB Sports were handing out like a not a royalty. You get like 50 quid if you stop someone that had a fraudulent card and you retain the card. So he'd organise them to go in with a fraudulent card, let them buy twice as much as they that he rung through, and then he would take the card and claim 50 quid from JB Sports as well. And he was doing it so much that he was doing about £1,000 a month on top of his salary as an 18-year-old working there part-time, just from collecting fraudulent cards from his mates that they sent in. That's the levels we're dealing with. And JB Sports can testify to that. So, where am I? Logistics. Right, listen, if you want to increase your efficiency, reduce your cost, and reduce your risk, I have a solution for you. So there was a tech company come on called ProGlove. So a lot of these warehouses, distribution centres, they have handheld little things that tell them where to go. See my knowledge, this is science. But ProGlove means your hands free. So it's a glove with a scanner on the top, and it means you've got two hands to do your fulfillment, which means you increase your time to do, so it increases the your speed to fulfill orders, basically, if you're not using only one, because there's one hand to two hands makes a big difference. So I'm going to put a link in to ProGlove. Should be used everywhere. The other thing I was going to say is, oh yeah, and this is to do with stock. Oh God, I'm rambling now, aren't I? Right, this is to do with jobs, because there was a guy that was on Bloomberg, and he was talking about how there's quite a lot of jobs that are unfilled, but they're all sort of low wage jobs. Well, that'll be why they're unfilled, because here's the thing: when you're on benefits, the reason people don't want to be on benefits, but I don't know where anyone would think that anyone wants to be on benefits. They absolutely don't, but they're forced into being on benefits because there is no going to work in a low paid job where you can't, the difference is minimal, but then you've also got to pay for childcare, and you've also got the cost of travel and all of those extra. It doesn't make sense. So then what the knock-on effect of that is, you've got churn, you've got high churn, staff churn, because people will start a job thinking that they can do it, and with all of those commitments, and it's just not feasible once you get into it, because having children is an expensive job. And so really the question that goes back to these companies, if you are a company and you've got a high staff turnover, you've really got to look at yourselves. Let's be honest. There's going to be something that is wrong with your business that makes staff turnover that quickly. It's not going to be staff, because you can't constantly blame it on the staff if it is always a high churn. So then you've got to ask yourself, well, what is it? Well, it's going to be a combination of a few things. It's going to be that you're not giving them the health benefits that they need. You're not paying them enough to make it worthwhile them coming to work, because particularly if they've got children, and you're not being realistic in terms of bills that need to be paid, travel to get to the job, childcare, and so on and so on and so on. So the cost of recruitment, advertising the job, recruiting for the job, doing all of the interviews and training, the cost of all of those things on a regular basis when you have high churn, that is going to be costing you more than it would be to just pay that first person that you employ more money give them the benefits from day one and the support that they need with childcare, maybe timings and stuff like that. If you offered that from day one, you'll have a loyal member of staff that will stay with you because you're looking after them. So they're gonna want to work for you. And then guess what? You're not going to have a high staff turnover, and you're not going to have to go through this constant recruitment and training process, which is just time consuming and expensive. So if you just get it right from the get-go and actually pay them pay staff what they're worth, and factor in all of these things, because you can't pay people less than it is to live. You just can't. It doesn't make any sense. And then you wonder why these jobs aren't filled. Well, it's because you ain't paying enough. You're not giving them the benefits. It's different in America because obviously you need to factor in health benefits. But that is why. And it's just stressful having to constantly recruit. It is a stressful process. Think about going through all the CVs. I've worked in recruitment. It's a fucking nightmare. You don't want to do that. You want to get a good one, and you want that one to stay with you. And if you want to do that, then you've got to pay them good money, and you've got to give them the benefits. And you look after them, they'll look after you, and it's as simple as that. It is. And one, if you do all those things, you're going to just create a better team, a better working environment, happier staff. People that want to come to work, that are going to stay at work, that will work extra. And you just create a better ethos and team. So that was just my thoughts on that, because there was a thing on an article on the job market. Where else? I tell you who's been giving me life. Literals. This guy, he's on YouTube. His name's Producer Michael Blakely. We are bezzes. That's it. I've decided. You and Adam, oh my God, you're too much. So funny. I'm going to put some links into their videos. It is just, you look like a riot, and I'm a riot, so we'll get on fine. And, like so many giggles. I think I've ranted on enough. I have got more, but I might save it to tomorrow. So I ranted on a bit. But overall vibe is, it has been a stonking week, guys. Things are moving, things are changing. And everyone is doing great. Remember, doesn't matter what was. You can change in any given moment. It's just a choice. And you can be whoever you want to be. And you are not the sum total of your mistakes. You're literally whoever you want to be. Because we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And it's okay. So much love. So much love. So much love. And just as a side note, I know that there, as I said, loyalty, honesty, and love. And I'm loyal to you. I'm honest with you. And I love you all. So, no matter where you are, no matter what's happening, you're never alone. Never ever. So, virtual hugs, hands in. Woo! Go fam. I think we're really smashing it. You know what I mean? We're on a roll now. I feel like this, there's this, it's like kinetic energy. It's good. It's good, it's good, it's good. See you tomorrow.